viewed myself as a non-artist, so my intended inquiry may seem quite ironic as it focuses on the arts. My intended inquiry is this: how can I use the arts to improve the social and emotional development of the students in my classroom? The reason for this inquiry is based on a multi-step positionality which starts back in my grade 5 year. I was part of the Arts, Science, and Canadian Mosaic program, which was really big in the Vancouver School District at that time. There were many visual arts projects, and I grew increasingly frustrated with how my peers' projects looked so much better than mine. I went to bed in tears many nights when my mom doctored my assignments so that they are worthy of submission, and this led to a complete aversion of anything to do with art. Sadly, as a result, I would avoid teaching the visual arts, at least, in my class. If I did do an art activity, it was some boring textbook reproduction, and my lack of enthusiasm surely must have been evident towards all my students. What I came to realize by at least the second year of my teaching is that students, by and large, loved art. There was always the occasional one that didn't like it, but I was often given the question, how come we don't do art more often, or when are we going to do art? I started to feel guilty that I was not engaging in a comprehensive education, as, being an elementary generalist, my students were entitled to that, all aspects of academia, plus the arts, of which I came to realize can be used in all academic forms. This led me to a GDE where I thought, I might as well explore something that I'm not very good at. Who knows, I thought, I might develop some strategies so that I can actually teach art and other aspects of the fine arts gamut of which I am more comfortable with, such as drama and music. This led me to a 2-year exploration of how to infuse the arts in all aspects of my curriculum and the benefits in so doing. This really revamped and changed a lot of my curriculum, and I know students were enjoying my classes more. My positionality is also based on my experience as a parent. My oldest daughter, for whatever reason, was a selective mute all throughout her early years of education. She did not utter a word in class from kindergarten up through her grade 4 year. She had to be responded to in yes or no questions, to which she would put her hand up, to the point where she would hold her bladder the entire day until she came home for fear of asking to go to the washroom. This led us to taking her to Glenn Davies at the Able Clinic, where he used expressive art therapy, and she would start communicating with him through her artwork. This communication of art led to small groups within her friendship network at school, and eventually to her entire class. By grade 5, she was completely comfortable talking to everyone. She now looks forward to drama and also loves music, freely singing and acting for all to see. Healing, it was seen with her, came through the arts. Her anxiety and her social development was largely because of the whole fine arts gamut. The past few years since my start at Bonnecourt Elementary have been very reflective. I started to think about what I learned during my GDE and how, in studying social emotional learning, a lot of the things of the arts come through. In my own classroom, I've used a second step program and Leah Kuiper's The Zones of Regulation. Throughout much of their resources, they involve the dramatic, musical, and visual arts to improve social emotional learning. Many of the activities show us empathy through drama and how to cooperate and do group work through music and other avenues of the arts. I started to think, if this can work in a class, then this can work on a larger scale. Clearly, there must be a connection between the fine arts and the social and emotional learning of children. This inquiry, of course, opens the door to a lot of sub-questions. I'm starting to wonder, are the fine arts in general all good? Are all effective in developing social emotional learning? Are the visual arts more effective than, say, drama or music? Is drama more effective than the other ones? This is what I intend to explore as I think about some of the projects that I am going to do with my class in my upcoming inquiry in September. I'm also led to wonder what if certain strands of the arts has the opposite effect, as it did with me. The visual arts created anxiety, not reduced it. In fact, I'd say it hindered my social emotional development However, I did not have the language of the zones of regulation or know how to identify which colored zone I was in. This is a question that will have to be addressed as I explore the fine arts and the development of social emotional learning in my class. With regard to data collection, there are many means of which I will use. Thinking about Babylon's chapter on collecting data, much of that will be employed. In particular, reflective journaling on my part will be the primary driver for data collection. Daily notes will be taken, which will be added to my reflective journal. As well, I will give occasional polls at the end of a project or an activity in primary language such as happy face, straight face, or sad face with regard to their enjoyment of the activity. Occasionally, the students will also do their own reflective journal, and I am curious to see what their thoughts will be on the particular projects that I'll be doing for this inquiry. Additionally, the pictures and videography will be taken, taking into account the ethics required and any immediate consent release forms that will have to be filled out prior to. I would certainly appreciate any constructive criticism, feedback, or advice that you can give. I look forward to doing this inquiry, and I appreciate all the feedback I can get along the way. Thank you very much.